So before you get into the episode, I do want to apologize. There's like a minute or so where there was an audio issue that I couldn't fix on my end. So there's a little bit where Themkeffect, where she's explaining on the first question about herself, and just to be able to share what she said, she just shared that she's an artist, an author, and creative in general, and you'll hear the rest of how she explains what that means as well as what her name means. So I just wanted to add this piece in so that the information that she shared doesn't get lost because of just tech stuff. So the audio cut off for some reason, so I tried to retrieve it, but it didn't work. But I do want to share that information. So without further ado, I hope that you enjoy the rest of the episode and follow her on her social media holds and enjoy. All right, so welcome to Black Hippie Lounge. I'm your host, Chanel, and today we have a special guest, Themkeffect. I hope that's how I'm saying it. So I met her through Darnell, right? We met at like a dinner. I think it was for Darnell's birthday party. Yeah. And so, we just connected through Instagram, and I've seen your work. Was definitely very interested, and so we just kind of connected through there, and you shared an interest to want to be, a guest, which was really great. So we just made that connection, and now, we're gonna talk about your work and just kind of give listeners some insight into what you do, and so that they can check out your work too. So can you just tell listeners a little bit about yourself, like how you got your name and how you discovered the Black Hippie Lounge podcast?
So my name is Themkeffect, so you call me MK, and I am an so many things. Just an overall artist. I don't really put myself in like a certain category. I like to try all different types of things and see how they work out and see which ones I fall in love with. And I got my name. Well, my first and last name, so that's where the MK comes from. And then the MK, just like I felt like the is just very authoritative, like it grabs people's attention. And then the effect is just how I affect whatever art that I'm in or how I affect people. And I just put it all together, and that's how the Themkeffect was created. As far as how I found out about the Black Hippie Lounge, I think a friend of mine follows you, and I put it in my Spotify to like listen to it later. And then when Darnell came out and said that he was going to be on the show, I was like, okay, let me give this a listen. And that's kind of how I started listening to you.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So you are an artist, an author, and creative. Can you just tell listeners what type of art you do, and then what are the books about for listeners who may be unfamiliar with your work?
So the kind of work that I do, the kind of art that I do is mainly poetry and self-photography. And I also do like, I'm a figure model, so I pose for different artists of all different types of mediums: sculpture, painting, drawing, etc. And then my two books are Mood, which is the first one that came out in 2019. And that's really kind of a collective of sexual poems that kind of culminated over a period of time. Very sexual, very, very saucy, very spicy. Not necessarily like a Zane book or anything like that, but just kind of open and honest about sexual pleasures and all of that. And then Relationship is more of like, which came out in 2021, is more of a collection of poems that have to do with anything from childhood trauma to my sexual orientation to forgiving myself for things that I might have gone through as a child, and one of my favorite poems in there is called 838 Washington Street. And that was actually one of the streets that I grew up on. And that was about just what it was like growing up in my house.
Okay. So you do a lot of self-portrait style artwork and photos that are both in nude as well as in clothing. What typically is the meaning behind your work?
Well, growing up for me, I had a lot of self-confidence issues. My self-esteem was not at all at a high. And my self-portraiture is more so me taking back my power and being my most authentic self, because for a lot of years I hid that part of myself because of societal norms, because of what family and friends would think about what I did. And it was really all about just taking my power back and just giving my words more of a visual, because those were two things that I really loved, was photographs and writing.
Okay. So most would think it takes a lot of courage, confidence, and vulnerability to share the type of work that you make. Do you agree? And what led you to live in and work in this state of being regarding confidence?
So like I was saying before, confidence was not something that I always had. I think when I was entering motherhood, and I knew that I was having a daughter before I even knew that I was having a daughter, I think that really propelled me into saying, you know what, I have to change some things so that my experiences don't become my daughter's experiences. And when I was 7 months pregnant with her, that's actually when I started modeling for painters and all of that stuff. And I felt really empowered, because that was something I had always wanted to do ever since I was a child. I remember going to museums and seeing like these beautiful women like draped in fabric, and just realizing like, this is just so beautiful. Like, why isn't nudity why isn't it a little bit more mainstream, like in this art form? Like, I understood art from a very young age. And then I also seen my mom, she would walk around, like in her lingerie and her, her beautiful robes, and like cascaded in like these fabrics. And I just thought that was just like so beautiful. So then when I became an adult and was living on my own, it's not something that, I just do just to do. Like, I actually live that way. I am a nudist. I am a little bit of an exhibitionist. I do like voyeurism a little bit. Like, that is all a part of my life, and it's not something that I just kind of cut on and cut off. So I think me just being nude and accepting myself as I am, I think that gives me the confidence to just live in this expressive way. And, I hope that what I do inspires other people to kind of, embrace that life a little bit more. Because there is a lot of people that, they feel like maybe facially they're beautiful, but they don't like every aspect of their body. And things like that, that's kind of how I got my start in being more courageous and vulnerable and all of those things.
I love that. And I like how you, at least from what you're saying, what I got was like, I think in society, nudity is not always necessarily accepted, and it's viewed as like something that, we're supposed to not show our bodies, but how you are is how you are. So I feel like if society is more accepting of nudity, it just becomes more of a norm, because it is a norm, right? Eventually everyone has to be naked at some point, and so I think that, like what you said, like practicing being more in the nude, whether that just be around the house or something like that, it just makes it more easier to be more confident in your skin as well, right? And just be comfortable with how you look and live in it. And if something that you want to change, then you can, but you don't necessarily have to. And I just feel like, definitely, I agree, like being in the nude and just being, it just makes you more confident and just more relaxed in who you are, and then you can exude that, you know what I mean? So I thank you for that, for sharing that. what influenced you to start working in art, and what has your professional journey in art been like? What has been some obstacles or lessons learned along the way?
I've always been an artist. My mom would buy me these all different types of books and, how to make candles, how to make soap. My dad was an artist to a degree, like he loved to draw. And like his favorite thing that we both shared was that we loved music. So it kind of started with music, and I would read the liner notes, who produced the song, who created the song, who wrote it, etc. And then it kind of developed over time. I kind of forgot about it. And then after becoming an adult, you're like searching for yourself, like you forget those things. I think a lot of times we forget about our inner child and the things that we loved the most when we were children. Mm-hmm. So it's just a matter of going back to those things and saying, wow, I really did enjoy this as a kid. Like, how can I incorporate this into my adulthood? And that's kind of where that started. As far as my professional journey, as I mentioned earlier, I started when I was 7 months pregnant with my daughter, figure drawing. And I remember just feeling very beautiful. Like that was one of the most beautiful times in my life. Like I was creating life. I was carrying this baby, had this big old belly, and just the amazing way that your body shapes and transforms when you're carrying life was just really beautiful to me. And I wanted to, in some way, capture that, where it wasn't just like a photograph, it was something more. I think at that moment I really seen myself as an art piece. And then I stopped doing it for a little while after she was born, just for, because I was dating someone and they weren't really appreciative or understanding of what I was doing. Mm-hmm. And so I had stopped for a while because I wanted that relationship to work. And then after that ended, I decided that was the place that really made me happy, and that's where I needed to be. And I always talk about, in some of my posts, about places that feel like home to me, and being in artistic spaces have always felt like a home. Mm-hmm. So I've worked pretty much like all over Massachusetts. I've done some things in like DC. I've traveled all over New England and have worked with so many different artists, and just learning all of these different concepts that help me in my professional life as a self-portrait artist and a writer. Just being in those spaces gives me the extra confidence to be able to continue to do this professionally.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So I do want to kind of go back to what you mentioned earlier about your books. So your book, Mood, is described as an ode to past erotic sexual experiences and fantasy. It's part poetry and an overdose of tantalizing conceptual self-photographs. Can you explain to listeners, without giving too much away, what they can expect from the book and what influenced you to write it?
What they can expect from Mood is... I've had a lot of people tell me how turned on that they've been by the way that I write the words. Mm-hmm. I've had some people say that, like the pictures like go so well with the words, mm-hmm. but really it's the words that just make it. I kind of write as if I'm talking to a person, as if I like to write in a conversational kind of style. Mm-hmm. And, it's very spicy. It's very saucy. Like, you're definitely going to feel some things. You're definitely going to be, like, wow, like I didn't even know that I could feel this way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you have to read it. Yeah. Because like I could say things and there's really not many words that I could say mm-hmm. that would make you be like you would get it. Yeah. And when I was making that book, I kind of fashioned it after my love of music. So when you're reading it, it's kind of like track 1, 2, et cetera, it was like a playlist. And even at the ending of the book, there is a bonus playlist that has songs that connect with the poetry, but also you could use for your own, your own session or whatever. And I think it's a really beautiful art piece. I think it's really dope, and y'all should get it.
Yes, of course. So you also have a book titled Relationship, which is described as a journey of self-discovery, healing, forgiveness, unlearning, and letting go. When writing this book, what was the goal, and did it help you release things for yourself, and how can it help others?
When I wrote Relationship, I think I transitioned a lot from what Mood was. So it's like, it's nothing like Mood. I kind of feel like it's the prelude of why Mood was written. So it's more so, why did all of these things lead up to that? It talks about like the hypersexualism. It talks about the sexual orientation. It talks about forgiving the past, childhood traumas, all of the things that we go through. That's why it's called Relationship. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be with a partner. It could be with your parents. It could be with yourself, like your internal struggles, all different types of things. And I think those are things that people could relate to. And not the entire book is not just meant for one type of person. There might be one person that has like hypersexualism or dealt with that. There might be one person that dealt with alcoholism or something like that. There might be a person that's dealt with rape or some other type of sexual trauma. And I feel like it has little bits of pieces for each person who has dealt with any type of anything that has to do with a relationship.
Okay. Definitely interested in that. Listeners definitely should go check that out as well. So you also have books about each zodiac sign. What influenced your interest in astrology? What is your zodiac sign, and what is your most and least favorite zodiac signs, and why?
So I'm a Taurus gang, May 4th. So I consider myself to be, I really play into that, but not playing it to the sense where it's like, like I'm a Taurus and I don't like you because you're a Gemini type of thing. It's more so like the earth, like we're earth signs, and I love all things earthy. I'm very kind of bohemian, and which makes me even more excited because I love the name of your podcast, Black Hippie Lounge. I always say that I'm like a Black hippie, so I love that. I made the books. I thought it was a cute idea. I wanted to try something new. They're just journals with like a cute design with some adjectives that describe each zodiac sign. I'm one of those people, I have a notebook in every single place that I am to write whatever type of notes or ideas that I have. I think having a notebook is very vital. I love handwriting. It makes me feel more connected to what I'm writing. And I feel like a lot of people should get back to that because we're always on our technology. And I wanted to design something for each zodiac sign because I really love like the inner knowings of people and having a better understanding of how people may operate, or if what they say about different zodiac signs is true, et cetera, et cetera. As far as my favorite and my least favorite, my least favorite zodiac sign, I'm gonna start with that. My least favorite zodiac sign are Aquarius.
Okay.
February ones at that.
Okay.
But I think that's just from like my own past things. It's just like, and then I just see the little things in each person that I meet that just make me like, But we could be friends though. Like we could absolutely be friends, but just in a romantic sense, absolutely not. My favorite, I don't know. I can't really say if I could say myself, but then I feel like that would be like a wee bit narcissistic. But I'm gonna say Taurus just because, or Earth signs in general, just because, the Earth has everything. We have water, we have fire. We're able to get along with just about anybody. So I'll say my sign just because we can get along with kind of anybody.
Yeah, I like that. I'm an Earth sign as well. I'm a Virgo, so I was just interested to see. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like, but I agree with you saying, like, as an earth sign, I feel like we have all the elements pretty much in us. We're just pretty chill people. Like, we get along with everyone, you know? So,
right.
Don't have much experience with Aquarius, though. I don't really think I actually know any Aquariuses, to be honest, but, I guess I'm not missing out. Okay, so on your Instagram page, I found a quote where you said, "It took me an incredible amount of healing to feel safe and secure within my body, and it's mostly attributed to the beauty of becoming a mother." Can you explain a little bit further what this means and how motherhood changed your outlook on yourself and your artwork?
Motherhood is beautiful. Like, it's dope. I've learned so much about myself. I feel like before, like, I was slowly learning, but like when kids come along into the equation, like, it's kind of like you got to be kind of on some hurry up and go. Like, you have to learn humility, you have to learn patience, you have to learn compassion. There's so many things that you have to learn when you become a parent. And just a mother is nurturing. And so we have to nurture, and, you know, we're like everything. We're the alpha and the omega. Like, we are everything, you know. Doesn't matter if there's a dad in the picture or not. Like, the kid is going to come to you and ask you all types of stuff, and you got to be prepared, but you're also going to be a little shocked. And, you know, when it comes to the art, I feel like those things kind of just gradually just become fluid in the art, at least for me. As far as, you know, being safe within my body, like, I've experienced a lot of different trauma throughout my life, from, you know, being verbally abused to being emotionally neglected, just all different types of things that just cringingly make me, you know, to even say, like, these are the things that shape me to be who I am. It's just a learning process. It's just a growing through things. It's a becoming, a continued evolution, because you always want to make sure that you're being your best self, because you have little eyes watching you, and you don't want them to experience those things. So becoming a mother and just seeing how powerful and how strong, like, my body is, it just made me love it that much more. So when I say that, that's what I mean. Like, you're just becoming who you're supposed to be, you know, and you're learning things that you never even thought that you would learn before, and you're just becoming all of the things that you never thought you would be.
I love that. Especially, I love the part of you saying, like, you becoming who you're supposed to be, and, like, how another human is influencing that, and that, you know, you can still learn about yourself and just life in general while being a mom. So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. What advice can you give to someone who's interested in creating nude art and body/sex positive artwork, but they are not completely confident in how others will view them and their work? And what helps you stay motivated to continue doing your work?
My friends always ask me this, and I always tell them the same thing. I tell each and every person the same thing when they ask me, well, how do you XYZ? Be naked. Take off all your clothes. Romanticize yourself. Like, you know, buy the fabric that makes you feel beautiful. Try different things out, you know, but overall, be naked. Just be in your space and be naked and stare at yourself and just look at the beauty of what your body is. We're all different. You know, some of us, I have my boob sag, you know, and that's what it is. I have a fupa, I have cellulite, I got some stretch marks, and that's what it is. And, you know, I look at those things, and maybe because I am in the art world like that, or maybe because of the things that I read growing up, maybe that's why I look at myself in that light. But it's like, there's nothing that you could tell me that would make me feel less of myself, or make me feel like I was ugly or I wasn't beautiful, because I've taken the time to scan every single part of my body and, look at the shapes or look at the lines or, all of those things. So if you take the time to really look at yourself, and your eyes aren't just brown, they might have speckles of, green or gold. I could look at myself and be like, my boobs are saggy, but I created a life. And with that, that makes me feel beautiful because I know how powerful and how strong I was at that time. Another thing that you could do is write down every time you learn something new about yourself. Every time you've done something uncomfortable and you came out on this other side, wow, I didn't know that I liked those things, or just little things like that, really make a difference. I found a new mole on my knee and I didn't know that was there or what that looked like, or, just take a body scan, write things down, take pictures of yourself, romanticize yourself, give yourself a candlelight dinner, you know what I mean? Have a glass of wine or your favorite thing to drink, buy some lingerie, whether you're a man or a woman or whatever, and, make yourself feel special. Don't wait for somebody else to make you feel special, because that builds self-confidence, that builds up your self-love. And, whether you're single or you're in a relationship, that makes the outside world see the beauty, not that you really need it, but people see that beauty when you see the beauty in yourself. Remind me of what was the rest of the question was?
I said, what helps you stay motivated to continue doing your work?
I'm always inspired. So, whether I took a walk and I was out hiking and I see the beauty of the trees, or I guess I see everything as a piece of art. Everything is artistic in some way to me. So I kind of just take that motivation and I'm constantly thinking of things and how I could put them together. And those are the things that keep me motivated. Keeping a space in your home that is cozy and plush and all the things that you love, incorporating those things will aid motivation. Doing the things that you like aids motivation. Being around the people that you like creates motivation. All of these different things, all these different aspects create motivation for me.
Okay, and what do you do when there are times when you're not motivated?
I'll be honest. I feel weird about it. I feel like I'm in a really weird space. So I kind of have I don't know how to sit down and just relax sometimes. And I have to remind myself, it's okay not to create. It's okay to not feel creative. It's okay not to be motivated. You're not quitting. You're just taking a pause, and that's okay. Because when you are constantly trying to create and trying to be motivated to create, you suffer burnout in the work that you might make will not be what you think it is, and then you'll think that you're a failure or you're not doing your best, when that's not even the case. It's just a matter of reminding yourself that it's okay to be soft in this time, and it's okay to take a break, and constantly reminding yourself that you're not quitting on what you are doing and you're just pausing.
I love that. And I feel like when you take the time to pause, it's like a reset as well, right? To kind of regather yourself and come, whether it be with a different mindset or just a more fresh approach too when you get back to the work. So I definitely agree with that. Thank you. So one last question. Can you share your next projects or where listeners can find you, and any closing remarks or promotions?
So I'm actually taking my talents on the road. I'll be in DC next week for the Black Girl Art Show. I'm super excited about that because it's my second art show ever, and it's in a different city, and DC is amazing when it comes to art, especially for people of color. So I'm really excited about that. I'm also working on a photo book. I've been really into photo manipulation, where I'm creating these layers of photos, and I'm trying to teach myself how to embroider photographs, so that at some point will be coming. I'm also working on a new poetry book. Don't have a name for it, but I do have some poems, and that's coming together. As far as finding me on social media, anything, Pinterest, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you can find me under the Themkeffect. And that'll kind of lead you to like my other pages. I have all my links on my Instagram. I have books in Grolier Bookstore, which is the first poetry shop in Massachusetts, or in the country rather. And I have both of my books in store there, so you can buy them there, or you can buy them from me, or you could get them from Amazon. But the link to everything is in the Instagram at the Themkeffect. And yeah, I am so thankful that you had me on the show today.
Yeah, of course.
It was really awesome. And yeah, be confident in yourself. Don't give a damn about what people are going to say. You can't make the masses happy. Be you. The more that you're you, the more that you will find the people that will love you because you're you, the more that you'll love yourself because you're being you, and the happier you will be. So if you're creative, and even if you're not, take some time to be creative, center yourself, don't let anybody mess up your peace, and just enjoy life the best that you can.
Yes, I love that. The Black Girl Art Show sounds really interesting, so I'm looking forward to seeing, what that comes about to be. I think I saw the link of it in your page, but I will definitely tag you when I post the episode as well, so that people can be able to find your page and follow the link to be able to access your work. So thank you again for being on the Black Hippie Lounge. And then just one last, do you have any questions for me?
Why did you start the podcast? What made you start the podcast?
Honestly, I think I was in a space where I needed a creative outlet to share my experiences and just some lessons that I had learned throughout life. And I had started listening to podcasts, I would say 2019. And then after a while of just listening to various different podcasts, I felt like I could do the same thing. And I felt like I had a lot to say and share. And I've always been like an artistic person. I just kind of lost touch with it, I guess, as I grew up. But I just feel like when I do podcasting, it's a way for me to share my thoughts and experiences, but also it's just a creative outlet that puts me at peace. I really enjoy sharing any information that I have, or just lessons that I have learned to share with others, but also being able to do things like this, like interact with people that maybe I might not have been able to interact with before, and just also work with people within our community to be able to kind of serve as an outlet for people to share their work too, right? And to be able to collaborate with people and just learn about others, but also create a platform for other people to share their work and just kind of keep it going. So for me, podcasting is it's been a lot of work. And I feel like sometimes there are times when I feel like burnout and I have to step back. But then there's also times like these past 2 or 3 months where I've just been going, like doing interviews back to back and just really putting in the work, because now that I have the time to do so, I just want to take full advantage of that time. And put out as much work as I can and just kind of see how far I can, grow the podcast. So, and then it's also just like being able to collaborate with people and getting great feedback, and just receiving like pointers from people about, what they do like, what they don't like about the podcast and stuff. So for me, it's still a learning experience. I have a lot more to learn. But I just love the fact of just being able to share my voice and help other people share theirs too, and like learning about other people. So that's really how I got into podcasting and how I've just been trying to maintain doing so. So, yeah.
I think you do a great job. You have a nice voice. It has a nice cadence.
Thank you.
It's very soothing.
Yeah.
And I love the episodes that I've been hearing. It's been great.
Thank you. And then being able to just collaborate with people like you and learn about your stuff too. It's like, that's what motivates me to just keep going, So, thank you for taking the time to being able to share your work too, and being able to be a guest on the podcast. Definitely appreciate it. And so, yeah, that's what I have to say. I don't know if I'm going to make sure. I'm going to stop.
Recording stopped.
Meditate, manifest, invest in you. Join me on my spiritual journey as I elevate myself and like-minded listeners to a higher level, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for listening. This is Black Hippie Lounge, and I am your host, Chanel.